I've got some amazing tips I'm going to share with everyone today on how to deal with social anxiety or how to conquer it. Pretty much the same thing. So if you're new to my YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified when I put these amazing videos out. Follow me on my Instagram for more tips and advice on how you can conquer social anxiety or conquer any fear in your life and build self-confidence. So I really appreciate all the support, guys and girls, throughout the entire time I've been doing these videos since 2012, and especially this challenging time throughout the pandemic and the lockdown with the coronavirus and everything else. Okay, so let's get straight into the video. So the first powerful tip and technique which you can use when you've got social anxiety is by not being ashamed for having it. A lot of people, to state the obvious, with social anxiety feel a deep sense of shame. They feel ashamed that they suffer with anxiety around people, or they find holding eye contact difficult, or they stutter or stammer, or they can't express their emotions, or they feel very self-conscious and they feel like people are judging them. I know it's easier said than done, but if you just start practicing, even to force yourself in a positive way to not be ashamed, because everyone's got anxiety to a certain degree and everyone has felt social anxiety at one stage or another. Of course, there's some people who don't have it as bad as other people, but if you take my advice today, you can improve it and become even more confident than the average person who wouldn't have the social anxiety that you're dealing with right now. So that's very important. Tip number 2 is you actually have to set small goals to you doing exposure therapy, and the best way to do that is by going to a local meetup group in your local area, or if you can travel to one, great. People back in the day travelled around the world to come to my confidence building events. So find an event, not an online event, because that's not the same, an in-person event. And what that will do is that will get you to confront your social anxiety, and you'll be able to practice a lot of the techniques I'm going to share in a second and in the other videos. Definitely you want to check out other videos I've done on social anxiety. I've got a whole playlist on my channel and I talk about all the different departments, different situations and fears that people have socially and how you can overcome them. So going to a social event is brilliant. Even more powerful is going to a social event where there's like-minded people that have the same interests you have. I'll just give you an example. If you love business and entrepreneurship and you went to an event for business leaders and entrepreneurs, you're going to be at home. Yeah, you might have some social anxiety if you're really nervous, but you'll have something to speak about. That passion, that interest that you both share, that shared hobby or passion, that will override the anxiety, and then you'll start to enjoy talking to people, because that's really what it comes down to. Everyone watching this video wants to feel happy and comfortable around people, and you can achieve that if you take action and follow my advice. The next tip, which I really like, which is actually a technique for handling social anxiety in social situations when it comes up. Now, the biggest fear most people have is other people seeing you nervous or anxious. What you can do is, when the anxiety gets triggered in a social situation, you can't fully stop it getting triggered, but you can change and you can control your reaction to it. So when it comes up, be aware of it, obviously, but tell yourself not to panic. It's almost like you've got a little boy in you, or if you're a woman, watch just a little girl, part of you that's scared. Tell yourself inside your own head, you don't have to say it out loud when you're talking to someone, and they might not even know you're doing this. They probably won't. It's a private practice. I've done it many times. Just tell yourself it's okay, I'm not going to die. They're not judging me in the way that I think they are. This is in my head. It's my own insecurities projecting. I can't guess what people are thinking. They're probably not thinking that about me, and don't choose to believe that. And if you do this, you'll notice over time that you'll just become a master at controlling your own emotions and your anxiety, and then you can override it with positive energy. So a feeling, a trigger of fight or flight, or an adrenaline dump, when your adrenaline comes and you feel fight or flight, the key is to fight, and not flight and head out the situation, because that will just prolong your anxiety. So when it comes up, observe it, don't identify with it, reinterpretate it, tell yourself it's okay, it's not going to kill me, it's just nervousness, anxiety. Every human gets it, and just do your best to calm the anxiety down. That tip is amazing. The next tip is when you're talking to someone and you start feeling nervous or self-conscious, or you find it hard to look them in the eye, focus on getting to know that person. I know it's hard when you feel all these emotions, but focus on them. And the best way to do that is by asking them questions about themselves. For example, I'll role play it with you now. You know, what are you passionate about at the moment? What have you been up to? That's such a simple question that any normal person would answer. And it's a nice question. And then when they tell you, oh, I've been traveling, or I've been just trying to buy a house, or I've been doing this or studying, then you can go into that. Then you can go further into what they've just said to you. So always ask questions and, get to know that person. Because sometimes with social anxiety, there can be a selfish element. You can be, oh, what does everyone think about me? Are they judging me? Do they think? You have to get out of that. So you can manually, anytime you want. It's not easy, but you can do it. You can break out of that crazy inner turmoil, that thought pattern, that anxiety triggers and starts bringing up psychologically all the thoughts and the stories that come. And the more you focus on the person, what you'll find is once you get into a deep conversation with that person, you're so focused on that person and you get into what they're talking about, you'll start enjoying it. Your anxiety will just completely go away. And then it may come back in again and you'll just do the practice again. So these are really powerful techniques that I developed by accident through going out and battling and getting over my own social anxiety. And people loved it anyway. That's great social skills, to not talk about yourself too much unless someone asks you to be interested in that person. Of course, when they've told you, eventually they will say, what about you? Then you can tell them about yourself. That's a great little thing that you can do. The next one, which I really love and which is powerful, don't focus on the negative aspects of your social anxiety when you go and meet people. Focus on the positive growth. Focus on the future confidence that you're going to gain through exposure therapy, through becoming fearless, through pushing yourself, through learning to get comfortable being uncomfortable socially. So basically what I'm saying is, don't worry so much about you're going to get anxiety. Look forward to the confidence you're going to gain because you faced that anxiety, because you went through those emotions. So to get down to the fundamental truth, you can't conquer any social anxiety by not going through it. So however we strategize, or I push you, I give you these tips which are brilliant, they're scientific, they work, you still have to be the one to go and do it. I can't do that for you or anyone. So you have to apply yourself, you have to tough it out. And the more you do it, the lighter you're going to feel around people, the less anxious. And you can compare yourself in a positive, non-judgmental way. You can see the way you were at your first social meetup as opposed to the 5th meetup that you go to. You'll be a different person. Another example, a lot of people are nervous about going on dates. Most people I was. You're not going to be the same way that you were in the first date you went on unless you meet the love of your life. That would be brilliant. It's unlikely for most people, right? It takes a few dates. You'll be different on the 5th date. You'll be more confident. Why? Because you've got experience. The next tip is momentum. Momentum is basically doing something consistently, consecutively, without taking long breaks. Example, if you went to 5 business meetings in a space of a month, you would gain a lot of momentum, as opposed to if you just went to 1 business meeting a month, which is not that much momentum. So the more you practice speaking to people and going to social events or putting yourself out into new social situations without long breaks, the more confidence you're going to gain. Momentum acts almost as a separate entity, like someone giving you an extra bit of help and strength, and you'll build that momentum. The more momentum you build, the less anxiety you have, the more confidence you're going to gain, and you can build as much momentum as you choose. So try it, and it works. It really works great. The next tip for beating social anxiety, or getting over social anxiety, is to actually have a goal in life, to find a passion or a hobby. Doesn't matter what it is, something that you can do on a daily basis, or you can do it regularly, that you love and enjoy. It could be something that doesn't revolve around being around other people. It might be, for example, what I do, making videos or posting on Instagram or photography, or it could be of people. what that does is it gives you self-esteem, gives you a purpose in life, it gives you a sense of love and confidence. And when you have that in your life, when you're around people, you take that confidence, you take that passion, people feel it, they like that, and it's all about you feeling good about yourself. So that's really important. Right, my next tip: do not let the bad days spoil your progress with getting over your social anxiety. What I mean by that is everyone has bad days. I had them all the time. You'll have a day where your anxiety will get the better of you. You won't feel comfortable around people. You won't act in the way that you want to act. You just won't be feeling confident. That's fine. But you can't let that break you. If you can still have a positive attitude and say, look, I had a bad day, everyone has a bad day. Yeah, I don't feel good today, it sucks. I felt anxious, I couldn't make eye contact, or I felt embarrassed, I felt ashamed, whatever I felt. But I'm not going to let this break me. Everyone has a bad day. I'm going to pick myself up and I'm going to have a good day next time. I'm going to learn the lessons that I can learn, whatever those lessons are. Maybe I need to stop judging myself so harshly. Maybe I need to push through certain fears and speak up more and express myself around people. Maybe I need to be more kind with people, more considerate, whatever it is. Or maybe I'm meant to go through this to toughen me up. Maybe I had to go through this. Always have a positive attitude. You'll see the profit. You'll see the value of that later on. But if you allow yourself to get negative and beat yourself up, then you're just going to dig a darker hole for yourself. So good days pave the way for bad days pave the way for good days, and good days do pave the way sometimes for bad days. But if you interpret it as a positive, it was never a bad day in the first place. So this is all about getting the mindset right through these practical techniques and applying yourself. The next tip I think is really important is confession. What I mean by confession is having some support, having a friend to talk about. It doesn't mean every day, or just having someone to talk about openly. Maybe another person who suffers with anxiety, or a friend, a positive conversation. That really helps getting things out. It's so important, especially for men. That can free you up from so much fear and anxiety. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed those tips today. Try those, they work really well. Practice them for several weeks. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Follow me on YouTube. I do a lot of advice on confidence, conquering fear, and a lot more stuff on self-help, self-improvement. And let me know in the box below which tip helped you the most. And I'll see you next video. Become fearless.